I don't know about you guys, but I am hungry. Today, I wanted to talk about some Minecraft mobs and what they would taste like if we could actually eat them in real life. I'm obviously not going to go over every single mob in the game because there's a lot of mobs, such as cows and chickens, that we should already be able to understand the taste of. They obviously taste like a cow and a chicken. There's some other mobs too that you might not think of when you think of that kind of thing, but basically pretty much any animal or mob that exists in Minecraft that exists in real life, we kinda as a species already know the answer to. Even something like wolves and crazy things like that, llamas. Like, people have eaten those before in the past. I personally haven't, of course, but people have eaten those before in the past, and so as a species, we kind of know what they taste like already. So if you want to know what a horse tastes like, for example, you can very much just easily Google that yourself. It tastes like a horse. And there's a lot of other things like that too, but let's go ahead and start on the list, starting with some A's here with the allays. The allays are very fluffy and kind of floaty, and so they would probably taste something like a marshmallow or perhaps a cotton candy, maybe even a blue raspberry flavored of cotton candy or something. Now, I know I said we know what cows taste like, but what about the mushroom? The mushroom is a little bit of a unique case because it's not just a cow, it's some kind of weird cow mushroom hybrid. And so it would probably taste like some sort of beef stew, like a beef mushroom stew, maybe even a Salisbury steak, that kind of thing. It would probably taste something a bit like that. Now, the skeleton horse, and this also goes with pretty much any of the skeleton themed mobs, like the regular skeletons and things like that, it would probably taste just like bone marrow because that's basically all they are, is just bones, so it would taste like bones, bone marrow. Now, I do want to pause here real quick and kind of talk about the wither and the wither skeleton. They would probably taste very similar, but they would probably have an extra layer of some other flavor to them. Perhaps a little bit of a burnt flavor, a charcoal flavor or something like that is probably what they would have attached to them in addition to the bone marrow flavor, but I think that's a unique and interesting thing there. Now we have the sniffer. This one's a newer mob, but I think it would probably taste something a bit like a woolly mammoth or a bison, maybe even a yak or something like that. It would taste like one of those three things because they're big animals. Of course, we don't know what woolly mammoth tastes like because they're extinct, but I think it would probably taste like what those would taste like in real life, if we could even try them. A snow golem is probably one of the best ones on this list because they would most likely taste like a pumpkin ice cream because they're literally just ice and snow and pumpkin, so they would probably taste a little bit like a pumpkin ice cream, and I think that's kind of lovely, although I don't really like pumpkin much. Now, the Strider is an interesting one too. This one's a little bit of a newer mob as well, but the Strider would probably taste a little bit like a ghost pepper. And I say that because it can, stride through lava, and so it's going to have like a spiciness to it. It kind of looks like a pepper a little bit, and I think since it's also a little bit meaty, it would probably be like a steak that has this very high ghost pepper taste to it or something. Almost like a ghost pepper steak, if you will. Now, villagers... let's skip that one. Endermen, they would probably taste a little bit like pop rocks, and this is an interesting one that I had to think about for a minute because I was trying to figure out what they would taste like, and then I kind of tried to put some logic to it, and essentially, Endermen, they freak out when they touch water. They physically get hurt from it, and so there must be some kind of actual legitimate reaction, biological-wise or something like that, chemical-wise, if you will, that when they touch water, it does something to them. And I think if you cut them up and ate them, that reaction would still exist because it's part of them. It's not something that, oh, I'm alive and therefore I have this reaction, and now I'm dead, therefore I no longer have this reaction. I think that the body, the chemical reaction that happens there would still happen even though they're dead and you've chopped them up and cut them up and stuff like that. And so I think this reaction would be something similar to a Pop Rocks feel. And so it might be a little bit meaty or something like that, or something, right? But it would definitely have like a Pop Rock feel to it. Like it would kind of pop in your mouth and kind of sting maybe a little bit. It would be something similar to that. And I think for whatever reason that just makes a lot of sense in my head. Now, the iron golem is a very obvious one. I don't even know why I put it on this list, but an iron golem would taste like, iron, metal, some metal flakes or something like that. Everyone's tasted iron or metal at some point in their life. If you take some vitamins for iron deficiency or something like that, you might know what I'm talking about. They probably taste like that. Now, blaze is very similar because they would probably taste a little bit like gold because they're gold, right? It's definitely gold or something similar to that, right? It would probably be very hot gold or something, and so you probably wouldn't want to put it in your mouth, but that's probably what it would taste like, is some form of gold, like some gold leaves and stuff like that. People put gold on food sometimes. Maybe you just want to eat the gold raw, and so you get yourself a blaze or something and you start munching on that. Now, the creeper, we've talked about this one before in a live stream when I came up with this idea for this video and everything, but a creeper would taste like broccoli or wheatgrass or something like that. It would probably be like a salad that has a lot of these weird greenery kind of flavors to them, like wheatgrass and broccoli or edible leaves, those kinds of things. And it would probably be an amalgamation of all those flavors together in one thing, plus a little bit of gunpowder behind it, almost like a pepper, but it's gunpowder instead. And so that's probably what that would taste like. An Elder Guardian is a little bit interesting, as well as just like regular Guardians, because in like a Minecraft book, they're listed, like we get to see the insides once in one of their official books, and there's like mechanical parts in there, and so it would probably be something like a fish skin and certain bits of fish, probably lots of different fish, so it'd probably almost have like a tuna flavor to it or something, but it would be mostly like a fishy skin that you're really getting at, and then the rest would be very mechanical and robotic and stuff like that. Endermites. I was looking at all the on all the different mobs for this video and stuff like that, and I came upon endermites, and I kind of realized that they're parasites, right? They're definitely parasites because they exist inside of endermen. You kill an enderman and they drop a pearl, and then maybe you use that pearl to teleport or something, and boom, the parasite, the endermite, comes out of the ender pearl, and it's like, oh shit, that must have been inside that enderman this whole time. It's like a parasite. They were parasites the whole time, and so they would have some kind of parasite-y flavor to them, whatever that is. I don't know what a parasite tastes like. I'm sure if you've had a parasite, you probably might have an idea, so maybe leave those in the comments, or maybe just keep that to yourself. But let's talk about gas, because they would taste like propane. I'm pretty confident with that. Now, magma cubes, they would be kind of like a slimy lava, like almost like a lava that's encased in some kind of slime or something. And I think on the same vein, slime cubes, like just regular slimes, would probably just taste like slime. Some kind of weird edible slime. If you've ever made slime and smelt it, it would probably taste how that smells or something. Phantoms, they would be kind of like a crunchy jerky, because, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I think there's bones on the outside of the phantom. I think the little white bits there are like bones, and I think the rest of it would be kind of like a jerky or something, because I feel like it would be very like tough meat or something, almost like the consistency of jerky or something. And so in my head, it would probably taste like jerky with like little bits of bone inside of it or something, because I imagine if you went to go kill this thing and you try to clean it up and everything like that, you would still probably have bones somewhere in it that you could never remove, and so that would almost always have bones in it, and so you'd get a little bits of jerky that have maybe 1 or 2 flakes of bone in it, and that's an interesting flavor. Now, the Ravager, I think it would also be very similar to the Sniffer. It would taste something like a yak or a bison or a woolly mammoth or something like that. Maybe not necessarily a woolly mammoth, but a bison or something like that, right? I feel like it would taste like that. A shulker is another interesting one, because when you look at a shulker, you think, oh, it's a little dude in a box, and so if I ate that, it would probably taste like some kind of weird plasticky kind of box or something like that, with maybe a little bit of a slimy kind of thing inside of it or something. But I think if you were to kill this thing and eat it, I don't think you would actually eat the box around the shulker. I think you would eat the shulker inside the box, and so for that reason, I think shulkers would taste like brains or something like that. Now, I don't know how brains taste, and I don't know if they're different between different animals, how they taste, but it would probably taste like some kind of brain. And now we have the last 2 on here, some of the more interesting ones. We have the Warden, which I think would just taste like mold, and a little bit of souls, but mostly mold, because I mean that's kind of what they are. That's kind of what the skulk is like a type of mold or something, and so it'd probably be like a moldy bread or like a moldy something, moldy meat, if you will. That's kind of what zombies would be, really, is just rotten meat, rotten human meat or something. But Wardens, I think they would taste like mold and a little bit of souls, because they have souls in them. Although I think if you were to kill this and try to eat it, I don't know if you would actually be able to get the souls, or if the souls would suddenly escape and you would be unable to consume those. Who knows? Let's talk about the last one, which is the Ender Dragon, which I think, oddly enough, would probably taste like black licorice. I don't think, because they don't have this reaction to water like how Endermen do or anything like that, so they wouldn't have this kind of poppy, stingy flavor or nothing like that. But they would probably taste like black licorice or something, right? It's kind of the only thing that's black that has a flavor associated with it. And so yeah, black licorice. And that's pretty much it. Anything else on the list? I was thinking about doing some mobs that never made it to the game, or mobs that were cut from the game, mobs from the mob vote and stuff like that. If you guys want me to look at some of those or something like that for a future video, let me know in the comments below. And again, if I missed any mob that you think deserves me to describe a flavor to, let me know in the comments below again for that as well. But for the most part, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please do like, subscribe, share, or do any number of wonderful things like that, because when you do wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.